Hi, welcome and happy birthday, happy anniversary. We can't decide which it is. Happy anniversary, third anniversary to Side Street Arts. I'm Michelle, you probably know me by now, and if you've been watching these, and I'm joined by our member artists, all of our member artists, some past, some present, some new, but people who have really made the gallery what it is, and also some guest artists today. And this Sunday is usually our studio artist talk visit, when we generally have just 2 artists in our feature shows. But this time we have 8 artists in our feature shows because it's our members. And so we don't have time for everybody to do a big, long studio visit. And when we did the, let's see, I can continue, there's the disclosure. Okay, when we did our showing our work that's on the walls, we went in alphabetical order. And those of us who live at the end of the alphabet know that the wait while things happen is often difficult. So I'm going to reverse the alphabetical order this time. And in that way, Bridget gets to go first. So I do hope that we get some more people in, because between artists, or just at various times during our presentations today, we will, Melody, who is going to keep track, there you are, Melody is going to keep track of who is here, and she will be drawing cards, gift cards. And we have $25 gift cards to the gallery. And if you are local, we're going to ask you to come by and pick up your card. And if you are far away, we will mail you an e-gift card. So let's start with Bridget. I think I'll pin you so that you're up there, so that even if other people talk and ask you questions, you'll still be the main screen.
Okay then.
So there you go in your studio, and we are Side Street Arts' mission during our artists talks is to stamp out messy studio shame, because you know, what was that quote I used to keep on my teacher desk? If an empty room is the sign of an empty mind, what is an empty desk the sign of, right? So if you are a working artist, you know that your studio is messy. Everybody does it. And a messy studio is not like a dirty kitchen. It means that you are working.
It's funny,
but
because
you did clean up though, didn't you, a little bit?
I did. On Monday, I had this inspiration, not thinking about, you know, the fact that we'd be showing our studios. I actually cleaned my studio, and I was really happy about it. And it's, I guess, going to be paying off, I suppose, because then you get to see the studio as it makes me happy. I was not happy with the way it looked, because, you know, Christmas and creating and things like that, things just get put aside. And
it's a nice way to have a fresh start too. If you're going to start a new series or something, is to wipe the decks. But yeah, the messy studio means you're working.
Yeah, it does, but it also is clutter in your head, and so I had a lot of clutter, and it was nice to just get rid of it. But so what I'll do, and I don't know, I'm going to, I didn't see where oh yes I can switch it around, and you can see, I'm going to take you over here. So there's the entrance with Squid Row is the name of my comic strip that I did for about, oh gosh, over 10 years. It's still online. I don't do it regularly anymore, but I do cartoons, all kinds of cartoons. So I primarily work, oh gosh, on in sketchbooks. That's my bookshelf there with gosh, all 157 of them. And then over here, I have my my printer that I usually print out my zines. I do a zine. I do a lot of cartooning in my zines. I do it every other month, and I'll show you an issue of that. Here's my my primary workspace is my desk, and so I have, oh goodness, all kinds of art supplies. Since I'm a mixed media artist, I do quite a bit of pencil, Posca marker, Copic marker, and again, I'll show some of that. And then over here is the sort of corner that needs help, and more books. So I won't let you look at the floor, because that's where the piles are. But anyway, let's switch you around here. But so I've been a member since 2018, fall of 2018. Here's my here's my first show along with Kathleen Mystery as well, who's here, and Gail Owen. So that was the fall of 2018. I've had a couple shows since then. I mean, you know, I've always got work there, but I've had two shows here, one with my good friend Nicole Curcio, that's called Closer to Home. And then I also did most recently a sketchbook life. And this one was super special to me because I have kept a sketchbook literally all my life. And you probably saw this on Instagram, the cartoons, and I do also a daily flower on Instagram. So these are just all the sort of an art journal that that I keep, and the cartooning goes in there. I do comics, I do mixed media paintings, I do sketchbooks, collage. So all of this happens in this, my studio. I use Copic markers quite a bit, and they are these acrylic markers that are, you can buy them at Dick Blick or anything. I use these a lot, and I'm going to show you how I use them. I do comics and cartoons on, this is a new, here's one with the Copic marker, bees, which I'll be doing today here, a little quickie, but I do these on moleskins. Here's a cat. These have not made it to the gallery yet. They're on their way. And so I use these Copic markers and those. Now the zine I sort of told you about, I do every other month, and I do, of course, my cartooning inside these on the pages. Sometimes I use my iPad to make these. I make the whole zine on the iPad, and then they print them on my printer there. And then sometimes I'll do regular pen and ink on paper, and then scan them in. And then when I like to use, these are, gosh, I use all kinds of pens. I'm sort of a pen freak. I have this, a bunch of different pens here that I use on a regular basis. This one, and these are, gosh, fountain pens, but this is something I use quite a bit. It's a Pentel brush pen, and it's got a cartridge and a very flexible tip. And I'm going to show you today some of the ways I use these supplies. Now, this is a mixed media. I've been doing mixed media on like a scrapbook paper for a while now, and I like doing that because it's a smoother surface. It's acid free, and there's some beautiful kick out colors. And here's a pro tip too. I think about the framing ahead of time, and so I'll take a whole sheet of scrapbook paper. I'll cut it in half. And then I'll actually take the matting that I'm using, or that I will be using to frame, and I quickly do a pencil sketch on the inside. So that's the area that I'm working in. And then, so I've got this pencil sketch on the inside. You can probably see it better on this one. Pencil sketch here, so that I know. Pardon?
Oh, sorry.
Oh. And so then I go in with any number of ink implements, but these Posca markers are so fantastic. They're acrylic, and which means that I can go over them. I'm just going to do one of my bees here because I love bees. Bees are just so positive. They're always hardworking. I love their little work ethic. And they hang around beautiful things like flowers all the time, and that's part of their kind of their charm. And then they produce the effort all the effort that they put in is sweet. So here's just a quickie bead. Now the Posca markers come in all these different shapes and sizes and colors. The colors, you can blend them if they're still wet. So here's a little bit of yellow here. And then I'll come back here with some orange, and then I can smudge them with my finger in here like that. So this is the start. Of course, the black wasn't quite dry, but then you can use that as a shadow. You can just wait until it dries and then go over it, or you can actually blend with it. And then you can go over the black if if you've messed up, which is the power of acrylic paints. Love it. So you can kind of see where that's going. This is one of my favorite colors, this one right here. Time to get a new one. But what I like about these is that you can smudge them, you can do all of these nifty things, and then you can go over them with colored pencil. I've got colored pencils and all of these other sorts of fun. I keep these drawers, and you just go in and kind of add color.
So Bridget, those markers are actually acrylic paint. They're not just like a marker.
That's right.
They are acrylic paint.
They are
Okay,
acrylic.
because they're expensive, but they seem like they're worth it.
They are completely worth it. Now, I also work in an alcohol-based marker for doing other things, like I make buttons, right? So, we make little bee buttons and things like that.
Oh, I know your buttons are they fly out of there.
The colors are just so kick out on the Copic markers. But, you can actually use these in conjunction with regular acrylic paint, and many people actually do that. They use this for detail or something. What I like about it is it's very convenient. I don't have to use any paint brushes. I don't have to clean anything except for my fingertips, which I'm absolutely fine with. And as I get older, I find I get lazier, and so this is kind of a fun new tool that doesn't require a lot of washing.
Yeah. And there's the immediacy of being able to just pick it right. Like you don't have to mix your color. They're all right there. Yeah.
Right. Now,
Nice.
This is just the beginning of something, of course, but I can play with it in colored pencil. This is an example of some more abstract work that I've done where, I leave a lot of the original thought process. The pedimento is, I believe, the Italian term, where you actually can see through layers of what you've left. And then, but then you can use it, then you can get really, you can get very heavy handed with it and put lots of layering and shading. And here's one that I've always liked this one, but it doesn't always make me smile. Bad mood that day.
Yeah.
But and then I've used all kinds of acrylic and colored pencil, and I've really layered up on that one. But so gosh, that's sort of I know everyone needs some time to show what they do, and I just thank you for.
Yeah, you've got a beautiful space there. I see you have, you're sitting looking out a window, which is wonderful. And so these are the pieces, these little, you do these they're like 8 by 10-ish, 5 by 7-ish that we have in the gallery. If you've not come in and seen Bridget's work, in addition to the buttons, which fly out because a lot of people don't know that each button is drawn individually. I think people think they're, that you run them off, or you do a drawing and then run it off, but each button is different and unique. So, and I know you have some real fans that come in they know what day the cats are coming in and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yes, there you go. You've got your collection of the collectible Side Street Art birthday buttons. Nice.
That's right. And there's more of them for everyone at the gallery. So they're on the
desk. Good. Yay. Thank you. Well, thank you. Questions for Bridget, and your longer talk, the one that you did on your sketchbook life, where you really go through your sketchbook process and talk about different pens and pencils and geek out about paper and stuff. That is on, that's on the website. If you go to sidestreetarts.com and go under events, and that is on there as a past event. And Bridget really walks you through, if you are a beginning sketchbooker, a way to get started on sketchbooking and how to get over that fear of blank pages.
And also there's a couple of zines available on exactly how to do that. So Artarama.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did those as part of your show. Yeah, it was the sort of sketchbook along. And I think that's something that we talked about during that show that the original plan for that show was to be very participatory, but we'll get there again. That'll happen again. We'll have
there will absolutely be a workshop, and I promise, because I absolutely love the sketchbooking and I want to share it with other people. It's a great tool.
Yeah, we were just getting started. Yeah, when we shut down, one of our goals for 2020 was to do events in the gallery, and we weren't able to do that. But we all have plans in our heads for how to share our different art with all of you. So we have events planned for when we can do that again. So you're a hard act to follow, Bridget, but in the alphabet, I'm the next one. So this is sort of a different, thank you. Thank you very much, Bridget, for your presentation. It was fun to see you sketch live. So I submitted tapestries for our birthday thing, and I've only had paintings in the gallery before, but I was a weaver before I was a painter. My BFA is in textiles. So I did tapestries. I just kind of, I don't know, I wanted to challenge myself, and we had a theme of 3s for our show. And so I wanted to, 1, use a medium I haven't used in a while, and 2, I was thinking of earth, keep laughing at the newsletter was Earth, Wind, and Fire, because Bridget was channeling her youth, but actually it is land, water, and sky, which is close to Earth, Wind, and Fire, but not quite. We should have that playing in the background. So tapestry, the first thing that I want to say about tapestry, and you sort of saw them hanging on the wall there, but I'm just doing these tiny ones because I'm getting back into it. So I've got a very tiny little loom that I'm working on, but these are some of these have not been blocked yet, and so they still have their weird little threads hanging off of them and stuff. Move them this way. One thing that people often, the first mistake that most people make around tapestry is they think that needlepoint is tapestry. Or they think that anything that hangs on a wall that's made of fabric is a tapestry. And that is sort of a loose definition of, put a thing on a wall and call it a tapestry. And that is the original use for a lot of what we think of as rugs, or those enormous tapestries like the unicorn and stuff. Those were made to hang on walls as insulation, because when you live in a big stone castle, the walls get very cold. And so there would be these enormous wool tapestries that were hanging on the walls, both decorative and warming. But tapestries are indeed woven on a loom. And that's why you see the little threads hanging on the back there. And I started small because I haven't done it in a long time. So I started very small to redo it again. And so I have one in progress, and I timed it. This is 45 minutes of weaving condensed down to, I just used the default speed of my time lapse on my iPhone, but it condenses down to 20 seconds. So it's very fast, but I'm going to do a quick screen share of the 20 seconds. What you looking at, Bisky? What you looking at? Something is, oh, it's all the yarn. I got all these piles of yarn on the table. She's just like, oh my God. Okay, let me share the screen here, and then I can kind of slow it down a little bit, but the 20 seconds will go obviously really fast. So here is I'm just going to show it right out of my Photos app. I didn't do anything fancy with it. So that's 45 minutes. And when I'm weaving, the surface that I'm looking at is the back. Let's see, I'm gonna run to the beginning and kind of slow it down and look at some specific parts. So you'll see that there's slanted lines in there. So because it's woven straight across, think about your potholder weavers, right? I'm weaving, over, under, across, and then tapping them down. So there's the warp threads are the ones that are already on the loom, and the weft threads are the colored wool. the warp is linen because it doesn't stretch. The warp threads are going across. And if you think of like when you wove pot holders, you know, you did the over under weave, but with a tapestry, you tap them down enough that they pack together and they don't, it's called beading. You tap it down so that it doesn't show any of the warp threads. And if they do, if the warp threads show, the term that people use is lice, which grosses me out. And since the warp is usually white, I prefer to call it rice, but whatever. So those are the little forks that I use for beating them down. So I use a wooden knitting needle to do my threads. So a normal loom that you weave horizontally on when you're weaving fabric, it has a shedding device which lifts the warps all the way across. But with tapestry, because you're often weaving little portions of it, you don't want to lift the whole thing. So I'm only lifting the part that I'm weaving. I'm not lifting all the way across. And then somewhere in there, there's a part with the fork. I'm going to beat it down. And I'm just building up that one side there to make it level across. At some point I bring in the part where I did the drawing. So the drawing is called the cartoon. And if I had a very, very detailed tapestry, it would, you put a cartoon, a drawing of what you're going to be weaving behind, so you know what it is that you're doing. So I drew this line to be like smoke coming out of the little house. And then I color it in, and then I use a Sharpie to transfer that drawing onto the warp, so that when I'm weaving, I can see where I need to stop and go. I've brought in a new color there. And because you're tapping down, if you've got something slanting over, if something is slanting at an angle, I have to fill in everything that goes underneath it, because I can't tap it down or it'll go where it's not supposed to go. So I'm going to weave and fill in to try and get it kind of flat. And then when I start doing the smoke, I sort of work back and forth with multiple colors at a time. I'll stop the screen sharing and just show you it live. So this is the one that I'm working on. So this is the front surface, the picture that you'll see, and then the side I'm working on. So I'm working with 3 butterflies right now. Sometimes you'll see bobbins, but mine are butterflies because the yarn that I use is a variegated yarn. And if you think about, if I'm fading from say red to blue, I have to make sure that the end of the yarn, if I start here and end here, the next one I get can't be the one that's several yards down. It has to start from the same place where they meet each other. And if you're winding bobbins, the thread that's available is the cut end. So I weave these little tiny butterflies so that I'm pulling, it's a different pull. Anyway, so as I weave here with the smoke, and it is hard, that's why I have this orange thing in my lap so that I can kind of see what I'm doing. If this smoke right here is going to start to slant over this way, I have to weave all the purple up to it. I'll show you something that's already woven. So for instance, this one, which is the same kind of structure with the wavy stuff. In order to weave this, I have to already fill in underneath, because if I'm packing it down as I go, I need to have a surface to pack onto, so that when you get lots of colors going across, you're, needing to, I needed to weave this. It's so hard to do in reverse. I needed to weave this piece before I could pack this above it. And then this needs to be woven before I can pack these down here. So you're going kind of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it does take some planning. Although one of the things about any art that I do is I always like to have an element of randomness and chance in it. I'm not quite John Cage, who would throw dice to compose music. I'm not quite there, but he was John Cage and Laurie Anderson, and those people were sort of influential to me. So I do use the variegated yarns so that I'm not always sure exactly where my colors will meet. And this one was done out of 3 skeins of the same colorway of yarn, but I reversed the order. So one of the balls I pulled from the outside in, and this one I pulled from the inside out, and then this is the same one. And it's a thing I've always done in my weaving, is I would do like a fade from one color to another and then reverse them, so that to play with the color values against each other. And when I start weaving big again, I'll do some more of that. So these are some of my little ones. I've got some in the gallery. These were two that I did. I started this last summer when we had the fires, and I could get out to my studio, but I didn't want to be out there making more bad air while we couldn't go outside, because my caustic work puts a lot of chemicals into the air. And I have a industrial exhaust fan in the studio, but it doesn't, it just puts stuff out. So I did these for during the fires, and I know they look crooked, but it's just the way that they're hanging. The hardest thing in weaving is to get a straight selvage, because people tend to pull in. So you have to leave your yarn loose enough. So I'm really practicing getting my nice straight selvages on here. The ones that are in the gallery are on beautiful hand forged hangers. My wonderful, wonderful son-in-law is a blacksmith. Well, he's a software engineer, but he's a blacksmith by hobby. They moved out of their apartment in the Pearl and into a house in North Portland so he could have a forge in the garage, and he makes these beautiful hangers. One more thing I'll show you. So normally you do think of a loom as a thing that you sit like this, which is how a fabric is woven, but tapestry is most always woven on a vertical surface like this. So this would be a loom that I'd use to do something bigger. And these pipes, these copper pipes, are adjustable, so I could make this very tall. But tapestry is most always woven on this flat surface like this, because you don't have that big up and down shuttle, and also you're looking at a picture, so you want it on a vertical surface in front of you. And this is a Murex loom. If anyone is interested in tapestry, and it really is fun, and it can be done on something as small. You can use a piece of cardboard and wrap string around it and make, little tiny tapestries like this. And if you are interested in that, I recommend Wildcraft Studio, and I'll put a link, until we can have workshops again, I'll put a link in the comments on this video to Wildcraft Studio. They are a wonderful, wonderful resource here in Portland if you're interested in natural dyes, making baskets, making spoons out of bones. I did a great workshop with them on natural pigments from rocks. So I really recommend them, and I will put a link in there, but they have a wonderful beginning tapestry class that I took again just to refresh myself. And you get to have pretty tools, which is fun. And it's a very soothing and calming activity. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I have a show in April of paintings. And so we'll do an acoustic talk then, and we'll be out in my studio in April. So that is it for me for tapestry. What do you say, Melody? Is it time to give something away? Unmute yourself, Melody. It is time to give away some birthday goodies.
Yes.
So Melody is going to assess the gallery view and see who has a hat. Anyone who is wearing a hat. If you want to grab a hat, if you don't have a hat, grab something fast and put it on your head.
I'm thinking the winner of this one is Billy.
Billy, and she would, yes. Good win, Billy. Nice hat. Yeah, we're all appropriately warm today. I think a lot of us might be wearing hats out repairing our lawn. So $25 gift certificate to the gallery. Billy, are you local? Can you come in to pick it up?
Yeah, I'm Gresham. I've been wanting to come out and see you because I know a couple of your artists.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, well, yeah, come on out. So we're open today till 5, if you want to do that. But we're Thursday through Sunday, 12 to 5. So come on out and we will have a $25 gift certificate. And so all of our gift certificates you can buy them online too, and you can do the e-gift certificate. They start at just $10 and they never expire, and they go up as high as you want them to. I don't know that there's an upper limit on them if you're buying them. But yeah, they never expire. They can be used on our online store and also in the gallery, and they can be gifted to other people as well if you want to do that. So,
Oh, cool.
Congratulations. Yay. And thank you. Yeah, I hope that you come down and see some good stuff in the gallery. Who is next in reverse alphabetical order? I think I need to look at the website. I know us I can't count backwards.
Hey, quick question. How long does this go today?
Oh, well, it's normally an hour, but we're gonna let all of our artists talk. And we're recording it.
Okay, because too long I have to go because I've got to
I know.
get ready for something else tonight.
Yeah. No problem. I mean, with a lot of artists that we tend to go along. It happened with the print show too. So thank you. But yeah, thanks for stopping in. And let me look on our list and find out what artist is next going in reverse order, or if somebody just wants to speak up. And I think it's Kat. Kat, did you want to talk about your art and
Oh,
show
can you
your
hear me?
crochet? There you are. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Actually, I have been cleaning out my studio, which has been an all-consuming task. And I'd rather talk about that. Is that okay?
Okay, I think that's, and I think that's something artists love to hear is
Yeah.
other artists talking about that, because that's something we all go through, is kind of where we are in our studio.
And you said earlier, and I quote, a messy studio means you're working. But for me, it's the opposite. I don't do well with clutter.
Uh-huh.
So if my studio is super messy, that means that I'm between projects, or I've got 3 or 4 things going on at once, but everything's just like chaos, right? So the way I had it set up before, to do my jewelry, I had like 3 separate areas. One area where I would do one thing and, spread out. But usually a jeweler has all their stuff in one little space. But I've just had the luxury of extra space, so I was all spread out. So in order to be able to do other things in my studio besides make jewelry, I decided to condense my metalsmithing area. And I'm going to show you my new toy. Can you see it? It's a stool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I see a stool.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not very sexy, but it gets me to the right height. And I was trying to figure out how to turn this around so that I could show you the other direction, but I don't know how to do such things. So this is my new area. Just all my little tools and stuff that I work with, and gizmos and gadgets. And then you come over here, and this is my soldering area. And I usually put the work up onto these little bricks and I solder them. And then it goes into that little crock pot right there where I put an acid, it's a mild acid that takes the dirt off and the fire scale off. And underneath is where the tank is, and that's acetylene. And so all these things had to be reworked. All the holes had to be drilled in the tabletop and stuff so that I could rearrange everything. So that's taken me quite a while, but it has given me back like half of the space in this room. So I'll have room to do other things. I recently have been trying to go through and sort out all my scrap, because you can sell this scrap. And during the pandemic, the price of silver has gone up by almost half. And doing this cleanup has really, I have like probably a pound of scrap silver that I've collected over the years. So I'm going to be turning that in. And then that leaves me more room for things like my yarn stash, which is all in here. These paper bags down here are all full of yarn, and I have to go through and sort it all out. So that's another project, because I also, besides jewelry, I make crocheted items.
And that's what's in our show, is those really nice little crocheted mice and little critters, and they're in our side window. You can see them even when we're not open. They're adorable.
Also in my studio,
cotton.
I never used to have any artwork or anything in my studio. It was always just a messy place to work. And so I've been all the stuff on the wall behind me, I just put up and it's amazing how much old work I have.
Yeah.
So instead of storing it in a closet, it's being stored on the walls right now. So
I think that's nice. I think having your artwork out to look at in your studio is nice when you're just have to stop and think a while and you see the things that were inspiring to you, or, you know, either your own artwork or someone else's that inspires you. It's nice to have, it is inspiring. And yeah, jewelry, it's tiny and you do keep it very tidy. I know that the silver, I remember in art school, the students who would come in and like sweep they would sweep the workspace for dust, literally, and go and, you know, collect it long enough and they could sell it. So yeah.
you can either sell scrap like the kind I showed you, or which is sweeps, which is what you just said. That's what it's called, sweeps.
Mhm.
And you can turn that in and donate that and they purify it and give it to art schools and give it to artists in other countries that don't have much to work with. Or there's this thing that I'm interested called Toolbox Initiative, which is where it's these two guys. One's a Canadian guy and one's an American guy, and they collect spare tools, used tools, old scrap metals, and they twice a year go over to Africa and hand it out to the craftsmiths or the metalsmiths there. And it's amazing what they do with a piece of wood, a stick, you know, a rock, one little hammer and a stake, and they make these gorgeous things. And here I've got all these tools and stuff.
Yeah. They don't get in their heads about it either, right? They're just doing it. Yeah, I think
They
that's
sit on the dirt floor and they blow into their little heat source, and they just make one little anvil and one little stake, and they just make these magnificent things.
yeah.
That's pretty inspiring.
Yeah. Well, I love that you know, Kat had been really managing, she'd been president of the gallery for a year and is taking a break from gallery management because that just got it. And it does get in the way of making your art when you're, you know, doing the stuff at the gallery. It can get in the way. And, you know, it seems like you can't get extended time to think about it. And I mean, it's terrible with the pandemic and with the ice and whatnot, but it's giving you the time to rethink. And yeah, cleaning the studio, it helps you reorganize your mind. Yeah.
That's and I'm reorganizing my mind. But I have an image of a necklace in my head. I've been thinking about it for like 5 days. So that's
Right.
that's
Yeah, we're ready to see it because yeah, we do still we do still have some cats. We still have your jewelry in the gallery.
I
Take
took
it out.
because I
You
didn't
took
want
everything out. Yeah.
I didn't want the pressure. I wanted to be not have to think about it. And that's the other thing. It's like giving yourself permission. Giving myself permission to do this was hard. But now that I'm all in. I'm like, don't call me, don't write to me, don't talk to me.
Yeah. And Kat has a show coming up in September. She'll be paired with a 2D artist, but she'll have a feature show in September. So I'm glad to hear you have a necklace in mind, and we'll get to see it in September. Thank you. And thanks for sharing where you are. You know, I think it's important that
Copper.
yeah.
Copper, so
Yeah.
nice because silver is too expensive right now.
Copper's gorgeous. Copper's gorgeous metal. Yeah, it's beautiful. But yeah, and thanks for sharing where you are. And I think it's good for people to know that, you know, you're not always, sometimes it's hard. You know, sometimes it's hard work, and none of us want to feel like we're alone. I think, let's see, Dawn is at the gallery, but did you have something? How are you going to work sharing, Dawn?
I have a short presentation.
Perfect. Well planned. Okay, so do you want to do the share screen from there? I can just pin you. Okay, I'm going to unpin Kat. Let's see. There you are.
Okay, you can see this okay?
Yeah.
All right, it's just a small portrait of my studio. That's not one of my dolls, but it's one of my broken treasures that I just love. And it shows a variety of my paintbrushes. There's clay tools in the basket, and a variety of things that I use to make impressions next to it. So I love dolls. This is my bedroom. That's my Sasha doll. And I collect older dolls too. That's an old wax doll that I just adore. So I love old things. And it created a desire in me to make new things like old things. This is one of the first dolls I ever sold. And it was actually bought by a friend of mine. I was so pleased. It was probably my second sale ever. And it made me start creating more dolls. And that led to selling at Ceramic Showcase. So before I was ever in galleries, I would take part in Ceramic Showcase every year. And here's, I'm sharing a booth with my friend, Chris McClelland, who made these lovely houses. And here's my dolls. And that looks sort of like my attic. There's me. And I also put on some small independent shows. Alicia Justice took part in this with me at the old church. So I showed some of my work here. So I started doing things independently and eventually got my first show, and that's at River Sea Gallery. And it was a mixture of vessels and dolls. There's lost dolls at sea. And I had vessels. And that led to another show at a different gallery that shall remain nameless, that I made great work for, but she never opened. She had very sporadic hours. So I had lovely Ziegfeld ladies. And that led to Gardino Gallery, which is a wonderful space. And that is probably the mother gallery of a lot of the artists at Side Street Arts. We started as Gardino artists and got together, and we did found our own gallery. But in the very beginnings of our gallery, Donna came over and helped us curate. She helped us hang our shows. She was very involved in nurturing us in the skills of opening a gallery. And I just do a variety of work. I do scary work. I do cute work. These are actually portraits of two little girls. This was the private commission. And the process, this is a portrait doll of me that I made for a convention. Ended up there. And then where she went was there where she sat in my home for a long time. And I love dioramas. That's one of the first diorama pieces I did. It's Zelda Fitzgerald on a joyride. And now I have dioramas at Side Street Arts. And I love being a part of this gallery because I'm allowed to display my work the way I want to see it. And it's a real joy to be a part of so many wonderful artists in a welcoming community and great people who come in and visit our gallery. So I love it here. And I think, oh, and I make jewelry too. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Don. Yeah, your jewelry is lovely too. And those are also vintage beads, most of them, right?
Most of them are, yes.
The main pieces, and then you fill in with other.
A lot of Czech beads, beads from Europe, found beads. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I love seeing all the dolls. I've never seen them all like that. And the older ones, you could really see the inspiration. Well, you know, that first one that you showed, you could really see where they came from.
Yeah, I'll have a longer presentation next month because it's my show with
right.
Gia Whitlock.
That's right, Dawn's show. So you are really busy because in addition to her pieces for this month, she has a full feature show next month. And so, yeah, we'll do a longer presentation in your studio. So somebody will have to work for you that day. We'll get someone to work for you that day. We won't make it together.
Great.
So, yeah, thank you very much. And we're looking forward to seeing more. I think next would be Alicia, right? Or close enough. I'm just going to cross people's names off. We might not be going exactly in the alphabetical order, but we'll just, I'm going to unpin Dawn, and Alicia, I'll pin you so that you will be up there.
Well, I'm going to get up and I'll walk you around my studio. This is the first time in my life I've ever had a studio. So I'm really excited that I get to share it, but I just want you to see the chaos that is my life. There is quite a bit of things.
You know what's there, right? It's not, you know, like if you have something in mind, can you go and pick it up?
Oh yeah.
So
anyways, I just wanted to show you. So I, whoops, there we go. I kind of thrive on like lots of images. Like I need to be looking at stuff all the time. And I will forget about things if they are not in front of me. So I've actually reordered supplies several times that I like found days later in a box in the bottom of a drawer. So that kind of helps me. And I also have to work on several different things at once because I have a really strong work ethic, but my brain gets scattered and it's hard for me to stay focused. So having multiple things going on at once is what I do. And so right now I have these little guys that I'm working on, these little dolls. I am also working on some paintings that are going to be for a show in June. Let me see if I can find my painting. I just had it. So I'm doing a show with my friend Kathy Brock, and we're actually drawing a central figure and then switching each other's pictures and then finishing the backgrounds of each other's pictures. So I'm really excited about that. I do both paintings. So this is one of my paintings that I finished in lockdown. And you can kind of see, I love all the patterns and colors and things. So I feed on that. I have to look at that and I end up incorporating in what I'm working on painting. But I also do a lot of stitching and sewing and such. So I have, I currently have just finished these goat men, which a couple are going to the gallery. And the goat
Your eyes are amazing. Yeah.
really funny. This is I basically make them all flat first, like they're like little steamroller goat men, and then I sew them together. And I have to, because they're felt, and small, I have to stuff them as I sew. So it takes a while to do. So I do all kinds of weird little things inside of my hidey hole. I've just been in this house for a year now, hiding.
Yeah.
Corona.
It's great you got your own studio space. And yeah, when you're holding these up to the camera, you know, no camera is going to do justice, so to speak. Sorry for the pun, but your work when you see it in person is just, I still go up to those drawings of the dolls, the little folk dolls, and just not swear that the she drew the fabrics and the, you know, with little rickrack and stitches and things, and you could swear that you're looking at a really good, you know, you taped it down or glued it down really flat. They're amazing that you drew those, and people often think, you know, when they come in, they're like, oh, she just put this on a wallpaper. It's like, no, she drew the whole thing. Read the, you know, it's all hand drawn.
But I love textiles so much. I love vintage things so much. You know, I use a lot of vintage materials. So I'll just have like piles of fabric. And I think I've actually used this fabric for the background of a painting. Like I just like this. So I kind of work as like a visual, I call it like a visual collage. Like I collage different items inside of my head. I work from old photographs, and like, so I'll take like an old photograph, this piece of fabric, like maybe like the lining of the inside of a box that has a neat pattern, and put them all together, and maybe with something floral. And then I'll draw it all out. I'll put it all out. So I kind of collage it in my head. Oh, wow. A crow just landed outside of my window.
Oh, cool.
Weird.
And I think you're bringing some of your coloring books into the gallery too,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Alicia used to do an event that was the coloring night.
Yeah, my husband and I, he's a DJ, so we would do 100 years of music, starting with like the earliest like jazz, blues, country, and he would make programs, and I would do a silent film star drawing that you would color. So we would do this event at bars, and so we did it for almost 10 years until, you know, this happened. So
Yeah.
I have like a decade's worth of silent film star drawings, and I did have a coloring book come out, so I will be bringing the coloring book in.
Wonderful. Yeah, because the drawings are beautiful, and you know, hopefully people will have some fun coloring those. And again, those are the kinds of things we can start doing in the gallery again at some point, hopefully. Yeah, but we're pleased to have some of your work, and congratulations to Alicia, who just sold a major piece. Really, this, if you walk by the gallery and look in the window, it is the centerpiece. It is the piece we hung first for this show, and then everything kind of grew around it. It's gorgeous. You can see it is still in the gallery shop, or you can walk by the gallery and see it. It'll be up through the end of the month. Even that's why we have red dots, even though somebody bought it, but we'll enjoy looking at it for the rest of this month. It's an amazing, it's like a collage of collages, right?
Yeah, I actually had done a piece for it for, I think this is the 2008 CAP auction. And so this is a similar piece that this is the second one like that I've done, where it's the inside of a typesetter drawer with all these little cubbies, and then I filled it with both collage and actual drawings and paintings of people.
And little pieces of ephemera.
Little pieces
And
of like
each
the
one is
craft
a little work of
craftsmanship.
art. Yeah. Yeah. It's basically like 100 and something little pieces of art. It's a beautiful piece, and congratulations to you and to whoever got it.
Yeah,
How
I'm
many are there?
excited for that. I'm really happy. So
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
whoever got it.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you not know the person who got it?
I don't think I do. I don't know.
Oh, I'll send you the name, and yeah, to see if it's someone you know, someone you should know, at least to be able to thank them too. Thank you, Alicia. And we're looking forward to seeing you back in person again too. And your show is June?
June, yes.
June. Okay.
Yeah, Kathy Brock, who is an amazing, wonderful artist, and so she does a lot of collage and light watercolor. I have like a little box she collaged here. And so
And you two doing collaborative pieces is
yeah,
going to
I'm
be
really excited for this. We've talked
amazing.
about it for years. We have a running joke about righteous grandmothers. We want to do a fortune telling card deck. And so these are the drawings that maybe we're going to turn into a fortune telling deck of righteous grandmothers. So we'll see.
We will look. Yeah, you're never short of ideas. Thank you so much, Alicia. I skipped in the alphabet because I don't know my alphabet backwards. I skipped Denise Kruger, who is also one of our original members. So I did want to say that Alicia and Denise and Dawn, am I skipping anyone, are original founding members of the gallery. And then we mentioned earlier on Gail Owen, who was a member for a while and is now active at Gardino Gallery that Donna mentioned, or that that Dawn mentioned. So we do still have Gail's work. We still represent her, but she is working for Donna Gardino and is not a member at our gallery anymore either. But it's, Portland galleries, we're all a family. So yeah, so Denise, another one of our founding members, I'm going to pin over to you. And Denise did an awesome studio demo. It was one of our first, when we were first exploring how to do the Zoom. I'm trying to find Denise's window here. When we first started doing the Zoom events, and hi, there you are. And I didn't know how to record properly, and we didn't record it. So hopefully we'll get something almost as good today. Denise had a show a while ago. Do you have another show coming up this year, Denise?
I do not. No, not.
But you always have lots of work in the gallery.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. Oh, you succeed. So yeah, if you've been in the gallery, you know Denise's work. So why don't you talk to us? Or do we want to do another giveaway, Melody? Where are we on the giveaway situation?
Well, we can do one more giveaway.
Sure, we can do another $25.
All right. This one is for the only person here who did not wear a hat, and that is Mark.
Mark is brave and showing his studio too. So he gets Mark is like an honorary studio visit there. So yeah, another gift certificate. And we know you're local and you're in all the time. And you have a show coming up too, don't you?
Yes, in October, I believe still.
October?
Is that,
Okay,
yeah,
and
is that,
we'll be
but
paired
if
with-
that's wrong,
with
correct me,
Chayo
but yeah,
Wilson.
that's, yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it, but thank you for the gift card.
Thank you. And thank you to for sharing your work with our gallery too. And yeah, he'll be paired with Chayo Wilson, a ceramic artist who's very popular. So back to Denise, congratulations, $25 to Mark. Let me write down your name. So Melody, chime in anytime you want to do this. So back to Denise.
Okay. Well, I was trying to figure out how to flip my screen around too, but I'm really technologically challenged, so I couldn't do that. But I was just going to show you my messy studio today. I had a preparation of pictures to share, but I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to pull it off technologically. So I keep my hand there. I'm going to flip it around, see if I can get. Okay, so this is my glazing area here. It's also my workspace. It's pretty messy in here. This is my pile of storage, which is basically the middle of the room. I've got a shelf over here where I have storage. all kinds of art supplies from all the different arts I used to do. And then I've got pods that are ready for something. They're ready to have adventures. I've got pods ready to ship out to people that bought them online. And this is where I dry the pods out. Here's a little shelf here. And here's some of my messy tools. Oh, so much mess. My favorite part about this studio is this window, which goes the length of the room. It's a pretty small room. It's 9 by 9.5, but this window is like 7 feet of it. So that's really cool. And that's my studio. It's a pretty lame studio tour, but that's where I am right now. Limping along. Oh, I also have some inspiration. In
Yeah, I
here.
saw that sitting there. This is interesting.
This is a log, tiny log that I picked up, and it's got lichen and
I can see that as your inspiration, your colors and
Yeah.
shapes. Yeah.
and then we went to the beach last year, and oh, that's it's a little shell with barnacles on it.
Bring it back like closer to you. There you go. Oh, that is gorgeous. Yeah, so that is your,
So someday I hope to make something that is inspired by that.
well, your tide pools are very much like that.
Yeah.
It's like a cup with little pods inside them. If people have seen your tide, I think, do you have a tide pool up in the gallery shop right now, right? In the online shop?
Oh, I don't think I do.
Ah,
I've
okay.
got-
There's photos of them, but yeah, they're gorgeous. Little pods within pods.
Yeah. They take a lot of mental energy for me to make. So when I feel kind of slow, I can't do it. I just can't.
Yeah, they're major pieces. Yeah, they're gorgeous. And your glazes are so beautiful too. So yeah, anytime that you stop in the gallery, you can see Denise's work. And also she has a few pieces online, and you also sell in other places. You're over at Gardino. And I think, don't you have a client that buys from you wholesale in North Carolina or South Carolina? Don't you sell to someone on the East Coast?
Yeah.
That's for shipping. I was there and you were shipping a big box to the East Coast. So even people there, which is nice because your stuff looks like the West Coast, but it is gorgeous. And I'm sure they love it there. So you have a studio cat as well.
This is Carl. Say hello, Carl. He's the neighbor's cat.
Oh, the neighbor's cat.
Yeah, he doesn't like living with the neighbors, so he spends a lot of time with us.
Well, maybe one day we'll do a little, come over and do a little filming video with you to put up. It'd be nice to have some little short pieces up on the website so that people can visit that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for sharing your space. And I'm amazed that it's that small because so much comes out of it. When you said 9 by 9, I was like, oh my goodness. But your work is all hand sized pretty much.
It
It's
is.
very personal. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
It's
a
tiny,
lot comes
so
out.
you know,
And then you've got a kiln set up, is like out in your garage, I'm assuming.
it is
or
out the
somewhere.
door.
Nice. Okay, well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Denise, and then we're down to Melody and Ha. So those two I can do the alphabet on because Melody's name starts with a B. Melody Bush, who's had been our newest member until Ha Austin came. So Melody will share. Let me unpin Denise and go to Melody. And I think Melody did a little movie also. Find Melody up here to pin your. Where's Melody? There you are. Okay, so I'm going to pin you on here so that you can talk, but other people can talk to you. There you go. And you're in your studio.
Yeah. Well, up to a year ago, I worked at the kitchen table. So this is a little bit more exciting than the kitchen table.
I'm sure your husband is glad that you're no longer at the kitchen table too, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll show you just real quick what I have. It was my son's bedroom until he left home. And then it was an office. That's why you see all the high-rise building type things up there. I haven't got rid of that yet. And then over here used to be a closet we took it out, we put a bed there, and now it's my shipping area and storage. And then behind me are just shelves we put up, and I'm slowly, gradually taking those over. Little at a time.
Way to go. Take over every space, every tool. I know with ceramics people, everything in the kitchen becomes a tool. The kitchen gradually gets empty as the studio starts to fill up.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, and I have a little video that I did. For me, tools, X-Acto blade. I'm pretty easy. That's about it. So yeah, we won't look at that. Okay, I'll share the screen and let's see if I can make this work. Okay, share. All right, can you guys see it?
Yes.
All right, this is just my quick video of me carving a book. So I start from the top and I cut down into the book a page at a time. And you see I have a little sheet underneath. I get those at Dollar Tree. And make sure I don't cut down to the next page. And I just go around spinning the book, cutting out what I don't want. And, you know, kind of looking back, you'll see at the end, I'll start looking to see what's coming up and see maybe I want to keep that, maybe I'll keep this in mind, that type thing. And sometimes I have to go because it's so little and it's so hard to reach in around stuff. I have to go. And
yeah, when you open the book is where it really gets interesting to see the back and forth.
Yeah, when I flip back and forth. So here is the book, and this is what I've done so far in it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like this one. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to keep choosing the ones that are like the browns, kind of the muted tones, and do that.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with this book is it's a little water damaged, because I get everything used. They're all out of discards, found, that type thing. So what I've been doing is putting on it this. It weighs a ton. So in between carving, I put that on it. So yeah, there you go.
And so you have, I think it's 9 pieces in this show, because you took the 3 very seriously. So she did 3 books, 3 ways each. And it's beautiful to see the difference taking the exact same book, which probably took a lot of collecting power there, to get the exact same book and carve it 3 different ways. And they're completely different from each other. You would never guess they're the same book. Just going with different color themes or whatever as you go through. So you did the botanical, the flower, was it Frampton's Flora? Flower, yeah, and then the fairy books and the night owls. Yeah, they're beautiful, the black and white. And then there's the other little set, the little 3 set that you won't split up. I love that. They're a little family. They're beautiful. And how did you start this, Melody? And you do know that Melody works in a library, which I always enjoy telling people that you work in a library and cut up books. That's just wonderful.
I just came across it by accident. I watch Oregon Art Beat, and we have a guy in Portland, James Allen, and he does book carving. And I had never seen it before. And I saw him on TV doing it. And I looked at my husband and went, oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever. I'm going to do that. So yeah, I stalked James and found out where he had his art and looked at it and looked on the internet. And it was funny because there wasn't like, nobody was doing it. It was hard to find besides him. I couldn't find hardly anybody that does it. So
yeah, I hadn't seen them. I mean, I had heard of it, but I hadn't seen them in person. And, you know, there's other ways I have seen people do other things with books, you know, like make a journal out of, you know, you just use the covers. But this I like because it retains the bookness of it. So, you know, and I think there's many of us who have been, I mean, I was an English teacher, right? So, and when I was moving here, I measured how many linear feet of books that I had, you know, and man, at some time you just can't, you know, keep them all, but this still retains the book. you can still flip these pages, and you have them displayed so that they have little clips on them. But if you unclip them, you can put them on an easel, and you can still carefully flip through those books, which I love that it doesn't destroy it as a book, because you know you're not going to read that book again. But it to me, it memorializes it better than making a handbag or a lunchbox out of it, because it is, which those are adorable. But you know, don't you wonder where the guts of all those went? Wouldn't you love to look at it? But yeah, some of the ones you had at Christmas time, you had the little, the early readers, and like Adventures with Sally and stuff. And so of course, everybody who knows someone named Sally, people want to buy the ones that have names on them, because they're charming. They're really, really charming. And I think you really showed your personal relationship with it by doing them 3 different ways. You know, that each one is an exploration. You're not just, you know, mass producing them. Each one is a little work of art and an exploration. And I love that you call them excavations, because you're discovering the book as you go down there. And you had my high school anatomy book, not my book, but it was the same book that I had in high school. If I still had mine, I would give it to you. I should go and look. I might still have that one. Sadly, I don't have a lot of picture books, but yeah, we really enjoy your work. And when is your show? Is
May.
May. So yeah, shows are coming up. You'll get a chance to see people's work soon if you're even mildly interested in the things that people are doing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And our newest member is Ha Austin, and we are very happy to have her on board. And we introduced her the beginning of the month, and I'm going to find your screen, Ha, so I can pin you on there. And Ha is a ceramics artist. She does beautiful porcelain, and we learned a little bit last time about the difference between porcelain and, where am I pinning you? Add pin to Ha. There you are. I'm going to unpin. Somehow I pinned myself. Remove pin. Okay, I pinned my iPad. There you are. There's Ha in her studio, which I imagine is neat because you seem like a very tidy and organized person. No? Okay, ceramics. It is hard to keep a ceramic studio neat.
So actually, I'm very fortunate to have lots of room. So I'm not actually in my studio. I'm in our office inside our house. My husband used it as an office for 10 years. Unfortunately, it just collected boxes and weird things in it. And so for the next 10 years, we've been here for 12. I took over, and it's now my 10 years to use the room. And so I'm actually indoors. My studio is, or my pottery wheel is actually in the garage, like most potters maybe. And it is very cold. So after 12 years being a tough Alaskan, Iowan, and Pennsylvanian, I said, hey, it's not bad here in Oregon. But after being here for 12 years and the last ice storm, it broke me. And I am going to buy a heater for my garage. So that's coming. But right now I'm indoors where it's warm. I couldn't find a funny hat, so this is the hat I'm wearing today. I do like to share my process video of, I guess I'm going to call it art for the table. So I do functional ceramics. I make bowls, cups, and all those types of things. And lately, especially over COVID, I have been a little bit more, I do a lot of more painting on my surfaces, and a functional canvas, if I could say that. And so I'm going to show you how I do my painting. Each coat or each layer, there's 3 layers to the painting, and I high fire in a gas kiln. Again, it's food and functional art. So let me see if I can share this. Oops, at all. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see me painting? Right? Are you seeing?
Don't see, yeah.
Sorry. I'm not sure what I'm seeing because I kind of have a split screen. So here I am painting the first layer on. I typically draw, or at least place out some major parts of my design onto the bowl, just to make sure I have some, room for everything. The leaves that you see have already been painted 3 times, and now I'm painting the poppies each 3 times. This is the first coat. So rather than sit here, I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little bit faster for you.
Huh? We
Yes.
can't see the video. So did you screen share? Did you share your desktop?
Oh, maybe that's what I'm not doing. Okay, hold on.
Okay, go to the green button that says share.
Okay, I did
Press
that.
Now press, it'll show what do you want to share and do desktop.
Oh, got it. There you go. Now can you see it?
Yes. great.
Okay, sorry. I thought I hit that button, but sometimes you have to hit it harder than you think. All right, so here we go. Here I am painting my bowl. This is the first layer, and I'm doing poppies on the serving bowl. The leaves, yellow and green, have already received their 3 coats. And then you'll see that there's some drawn in pictures of my wrens, which are going to be black. And I'll paint that later. My big fat head there is in the way. And so this is real time. And I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. And I wish I could work this fast, maybe faster. So this is me painting on the second coat. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to close that back out. Okay. Can you guys just see me now?
Oh,
Go to the top and do stop sharing. Look at the top of your screen.
Yep, got it.
There you go.
Okay, now can you see me?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been, as far as my studio being clean, it's never clean. I only clean the section that I need to work in. So if I'm throwing, I clean my wheel and that space around it, like 5 by 5. If I am glazing, I'm cleaning that thing because everything is on wheels, and I push all my stuff from place to place as I'm freeing up my studio for work. Like I said, I've been indoors because it's been kind of cold, and this is new. I've been painting these cards. Can you see that?
Mhm.
So I've got into the card business and I've been painting my designs on cards, and hopefully I'll bring that in next Saturday when I hang and if I go and visit with Denise. So next Saturday, Denise, you and I do want
And so
to show
these
you.
are reproductions. These are original. Each one is a painting.
Yes,
Each
each
card is
one is
painted,
hand
right?
painted. Yeah, so here's a rose. I don't have that on my powdery, but it's here on a card. I do want to show the finished product of my bowl. This is what I was painting, and it's been fired and glazed. I put a clear glaze on it, and it's underglazes that I use. I also try to find as much surface as I can. And here is a bowl that has designs on the outside. If it's a plate, then I'll paint right here in the middle. Cups and other things are just too small to, have too many, and I can't paint the inside of the cup. These days, I'll find more areas to paint. Yeah, so that's my process.
Thank you. And yeah, your work is beautiful. The little wrens and the different flowers are lovely. And so Ha just set up her shop. One of the things Dawn mentioned that's just one of the things I love so much about this gallery is that each of the member artists has an area that is always on display. It's like your own little shop, and you can display your work as a member artist however you want. And I love seeing how people do their different setups. And Ha right now has a beautiful little shelf and lots of mugs up, and you have a little tea set out that's very inspiring, makes us all wish that our tea time looked like that instead of a mug, that you lose in the living room. It looks very peaceful and lovely. So yeah, that is I think one of the sort of the pride of our gallery is that the member artists, your work is shown the way you want it to be, and it creates the little world, in there, and it's fun to see all that. So that is, I think, everyone. Melanie.
Who's Moto E5 Play?
And
Is that Moto?
It says Moto. That seems to be another person
I'm
who needs
sorry.
a gift certificate.
I thought it was her screen, Michelle's screen. when
Oh,
she-
no. My screen is the one where I look like a cat. So I don't know who. Moto E5, that might be Dawn.
If Moto could
It's a
present-
phone.
nope, okay. I
Do
didn't
not
want
know. Yeah, so
want to
it's
ignore.
interesting because there's no little mic. There's the symbol that shows a microphone with a line through it,
Right.
and there isn't that. I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah, no, my iPad, my other screen is the me with the cat ears, which counts as a hat. It's like a secondary hat. It's almost another hat. It's like those
So
little headband hats.
Billy and Mark are getting some gift certificates. We need to get their information. How do they?
Yes.
How do they? Well, we know
They
where
just
Mark.
come by the gallery. Yep.
Yeah.
They come by the gallery and pick up their gift certificate. We'll have, this is getting hot. Yeah, they can just come by the gallery and pick up those gift certificate, and that is easy.
We'll have them ready. Them.
They'll have them ready to go for you. Yeah, and just put your name on them, and yeah, and so those can be gifted to someone else, or that you can use them in the gallery or whatever you want to do with them. But yeah, congratulations on those. Thank you everybody for coming. And I think, well, we ran way over, but because we didn't, I wasn't recording yet when we had the memory slideshow up. I think I'd like to run that again if a few members can stay and kind of narrate that as it goes, because there's some things that are prior, before my time. So if anybody wants to stay after school and narrate,
Great. I'd love to do that.
Oh, good. Yeah, because you'll remember all the things, because those are from the very beginning, and it has that like, hey kids, let's have a gallery mood to it, because you can see the excitement of the setup. And so if you don't know the story of the gallery, for anyone watching this later too, well, Dawn, you can tell it, I guess, since you were part of the original part, but we are very grateful to Michael Pratt and Rita Larson, our benefactors and landlords, who we could not have this business without. So do you want to, are there customers in there, or do you want to tell how we came to be?
I'd be happy to.
But if someone walks in, you can go
Yeah.
talk to them.
So are we gonna have a slideshow along with it, or is it just?
Okay, yeah, I'll do the slideshow. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start the slideshow. So if you already saw that part, let me do the screen sharing here. And they just are like a couple of seconds each, so you'll have to kind of talk fast on this.
So basically, Rita Larson had a lovely gallery shop here in our space, and she had it for many years. It was legendary. And at some point, she decided it was time to retire. So she asked artists that she knew, would you like to form a gallery formed by artists, for artists, and people who love art? And we said yes. And Kathy Newland was one of the main people, Lisa Laser, Amelia Opie, myself, Denise came in, and Alicia came in very early in the process. And we just had a lovely little group. And it took about a year of working before we opened the gallery. We had to completely redo the space. We took down walls, rebuilt the rooms. There's some of Kathy's work. And in the beginning, our Small Works Gallery was down below. And there's Kathy Newland and Kat. Kat joined us really pretty soon. And there's the other cat. We had a gallery cat that would visit. Yeah, and our feature show area was in the middle room. There's some of Alicia's early dolls. And that's Moto. That's who I was thinking was the person on our video call. And yeah. So basically, this is just the very beginnings of the gallery. This is the first year, and Alicia always hung the Small Works Gallery. And our first Christmas show, Amelia Opie made a special card for us. And there we are, overhauling the gallery and the dolls. And some of my work from my feature show. Yeah. So we had a lot of group shows in the first year or two because we had to meet more artists. I love that installation piece of Alicia's. This is from the Mixed Media Show, a Karen Whippich piece. And many of our artists have been with us since the beginning, and some come and visit us for short periods of time. There's Michelle. Michelle joined us, And she really helped us up our game because that's when we entered the whole internet sales. And we had lots of wonderful parties. And I was so pleased that we had a show with Charles because that was his last show that he did. He's basically retired from ceramics. Yes. And our beautiful
beautiful
photo booth. Yeah. And Kathy's show. And Gail made this great sign that we're still using today that she printed for us. And lots of food. You can tell how much we love food.
Oh, we missed the parties.
Yeah. And that looks like, that was Christopher St. John, I think.
And that was Kevin Post with his.
Oh, that's right. All right.
Yeah, that was my first show.
Yeah, that was wonderful. And then I have to say thank you to Bridget, who helped spearhead the whole mural project. She was the mother and father of it through the entire time, helping Gary with everything he needed to create a beautiful mural. She helped us jump through the official hoops.
That was a lot of fun. It was so well worth all the work. And I gotta say, Gary did a lot of the work going through the city and everything.
He's an amazing guy.
He's an amazing individual, and we carry his work. And we had that beautiful show that he did that was very improvisational, and also got the help of the viewer to name those pieces that he had. So.
Gail and Kat. And there's your show with Nicole. That's
Nicole
Bridget.
Curzo. Mm-hmm.
My pieces.
Mm-hmm. There's Nicole there.
Kristen Ettman, one of our favorite printmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Cards, we sell so many cards. And they're beautiful. And they cost less than a dumb Hallmark card. I don't know why everybody doesn't buy them. I think that was Kat's. Yeah, this was Kat's jewelry show. Remember that woman was trying on all the jewelry. She's like the perfect jewelry model. And she ran in on the very last day of that show. She was on her way to a party and bought the piece that she had been walking around with and left with it. And then somebody came in 10 minutes later, like, oh, I was coming in for that piece. I'm like, well, oh yeah, that's Gary's show where he hung these little notebooks next to the paintings, and everybody who looked at them would suggest a title. And then this is our youngest artist. He's my little grandnephew. He's not an official. He's not a member yet. Oh, when we had crowds. I love seeing the crowds in the gallery.
And those gnomes, which sold out.
Yep, we finally sold the last gnome. Yeah, that was part of the Michael and Rita legacy. We discovered that box. That's the kind of stuff she had in her gallery.
People still come
there.
Yeah, people still come in looking for those. Every now and then we get someone who thinks it's going to still be that show. There's Poppy at our last year's print show. Daniel Jassa.
Karen Thurman.
Yeah.
Karen Thurman was our last show where we had people in the gallery. And that's last February. That was Christopher St. John.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our second year birthday.
Those flowers, I think, were Sharon Jonquil, I think. So they were gifted from Sharon.
Yeah.
Which Sharon has some new work that we just hung a few pieces yesterday. Because we sold some pieces and we hung up some new pieces. So it's great.
Here's some of our early pandemic shows. We had, because the gallery was closed, but we built a false wall and pushed it up to the window and hung art on it. And that's when we really started going online. And we did great. We're very proud to say we matched last year, even though we were closed for those months. And we are so grateful to the collectors who buy our art and the artists who make the art that people can't resist.
Yeah.
And so because Alicia has been at home, Melody, Melody came on as a member right before we shut down. And so the Melody now hangs the small work and Alicia is working from home. More of her wonderful dolls. There are some other doll makers in Portland, but they don't do the detail that she does. The back and front both are so detailed and beautiful. And we cleaned and redid everything before we reopened. And we were so pleased to reopen. there's a truck going by, which is why we don't put fragile things in the window because we can hear it, and why we don't do these events for another dog.
Oh,
Yeah, a little beagle. Bridget's sketchbooks, which were like on fire. She could hardly keep up making those books. Yeah,
Still making them, still making them.
like yeah, they're awesome. That's Last Christmas. So a year ago, December.
No.
Gail's little puppy, who is now enormous. And I think we should be getting to, there's Mug. I'm a little fat. My runs faster than you guys. So there's Mug Island. I think we are getting to the end. There's the current show. And I think that's where we end. Yep, and then we start over again. So it's been a wonderful 3 years. Just the part of it that I've been able to share. I've been so grateful to everyone there. I'd never been part of a gallery before, and it's been a great gallery experience. Let me stop my screen sharing. Stop share. There we go. It's been a great experience being at the gallery, and I just can't imagine a better group of people to be with. You know, great variety of talent. Not only artistic talent, but other talent too. We managed to run a gallery somehow. In addition to being artists, we've got someone who can do numbers. Thank you, Denise. And people who can do all of the different things, the social media. And Bridget does all of it. It looks like we're running the end credits. Bridget does our cards and our all of the interfacing with, you know, getting our ads, and with the Southeast Examiner, sort of the marketing stuff. Dawn keeps everything running in the purchases. She's our secretary for keeping everything running. Ha is going to be spearheading a new thing we're going to be doing starting in April. We're going to, in addition to having our feature artists, we'll be spotlighting once a month. One of our just regular represented small works artists will get a chance to sort of be in the spotlight, have a little more wall space, and be featured online. So especially we had a lot of new artists in that came in this past holiday season. So we'll have a chance to spotlight those artists, and Ha is going to be spearheading that to give those people some more attention. And because we love to give attention to all of our artists, you know, and work up to so that everybody can have feature shows at one point. So anything else anybody wants to say? Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, everyone.
Happy birthday.
Yay. So yeah, congratulations to our sales this month, especially Alicia and Dawn. I think I just heard people come in the gallery or something. I know trucks were going by, I heard some voices. So yeah, thanks. We'll say goodbye and I'll stop recording. Bye. Yay, bye everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, ending recording.